Welcome to another English language lesson. This lesson is for Form 4. Today we are going to learn Unit 6. The topic is Time Out. This is from the textbook Full Blast. Before we begin, let's look at the learning standards. Here we have the main skills. Speaking 2.1.1. Explain simple content on familiar topics from what they read and hear. And then we have the next one. Speaking 2.4.1. Summarize the main points of a story, text, or plot. And then we have reading 3.1.4. Use independently familiar and some unfamiliar print and digital resources to check meaning and extend understanding. Then we have listening 1.2.1. Guess the meaning of unfamiliar words from clues provided by other words and by context on a wide range of familiar topics. And then writing 4.1.3. Explain the main points of an argument or an idea. Now let's look at the complementary skills. For complementary skills, we have speaking 2.1.1. Explain simple content on familiar topics from what they read and hear. And then speaking 2.1.4. Explain and justify own point of view. And reading 3.1.4. Use independently familiar and some unfamiliar print and digital resources to check meaning and extend understanding. And then the last one, listening 1.1.2. Understand independently specific information and details in a standard text on a wide range of familiar topics. Time out. What is time out? It is a period of time when you stop what you usually do and you rest or do something else instead of, for example, instead of studying. Okay. Time out, take time out. So this is the sentence. It's very beneficial to take time out to relax each day. What's the synonym for time out? You can use break. Example, it's very beneficial to take a break to relax each day. So now, what are other words for time out? Do you have your answers? Let's look at the answers here. Other words for timeout, they are break, respite, recess, pause, intermission, rest, interruption, interval, breathing space, and also interlude. Now let's move on to reading. For reading, you are going to read a few of the articles here. First, discuss, okay, do you play computer or video games? What are your favorite kinds of games? What games can't you stand at all? And then B, read the information from the 5 teenagers below. So here are their opinions. Match each teenager with one of the computer games on the right that you think would interest him or her the most. Write A to H. There are 3 extra games which you do not need to use. Tips. First, read the descriptions of the people carefully. Then, scan each text and look for specific information mentioned in each of the descriptions.
(6B) Read.
B. Read the information about the 5 teenagers below. Match each teenager with one of the computer games on the right that you think would interest him or her the most. Write A to H. There are 3 extra games which you do not need to use.
1. James is 15 years old, and his favorite pastime is reading action stories and comics, as well as playing games. He is always looking for adventure. He enjoys team games, but he can't stand games that involve strategy. 2. Kate is a 16-year-old who is very sociable and enjoys playing video games and listening to music. Despite her passion for music, she doesn't have any musical talent or abilities, but she is always the first to try out new steps so as to perform in front of her friends. 3. Helen is 13 years old and a born leader. She is the captain of the School Environmental Society and spends a lot of time organizing projects with students to manage the school garden area. 4. Phil is 17 years old. He's fond of activities through which he can gain knowledge, but nothing that involves violence. Even though he is intelligent and likes to be pushed mentally, he does not like competition. 5. Kelly is 18 years old and adores any sport that involves excitement and speed. She likes to compete and be the best at everything and seems to be afraid of nothing. A.
Get your groove on. Enjoy a complete dance experience. Follow the moves of a real dance teacher and learn amazing dance routines. This is the game to get the party started. Invite your friends and play with up to 4 others. Choose from a wide variety of dance styles, music and moods, or create your own to impress your friends. Enjoy yourself and get fit at the same time.
B. Puzzle Mania. You can always count on Puzzle Mania to create fantastic puzzle games. This brand new edition features over 1,200 all-new puzzles. Perfect for all occasions. There is something for everyone here. These puzzles test your intelligence and memory, so they are fun and educational at the same time. Puzzles and games available for all ages and abilities. You just need to be interested in puzzles and not afraid of giving your brain a good workout. C. Racing Driver. If you think high speeds are thrilling, then this is the game for you. Live the excitement of professional drivers with the latest effects and technology. It's so real that you feel like you're really inside a race car. Featuring a great soundtrack and only the most powerful cars, players will race on famous racetracks in world championships. Make sure you are ready for lots of pressure and action. This is a game only for the courageous. D. Kings and Empires. This game will take you back to ancient times, where you will take part in bloody battles to conquer some of the greatest cities in human history. Players will have to build up an army and develop war plans. This game requires excellent planning skills and the ability to concentrate and think ahead of time. History lovers will enjoy this thrilling journey into another era. E. Farm Fun 4. Are you the world's best farmer? Then try to manage 5 different farms around the world. Take control of farms in Africa, Europe, South America, the USA, and Asia. The fun never stops as you grow crops in fields, feed your animals, collect eggs, and take your produce to market in order to earn money. This online game is not as easy as it looks. Only a good manager makes a successful farmer. Do you have what it takes? F. Checkmate. The latest game from the best-selling chess series. A complete tutorial program is included to teach you everything you need to know, from beginner to expert level. Multiplayer option available to allow you to play against other players live online. Join or create tournaments and leagues. Chess has been proven to improve problem-solving skills and test all parts of the brain. G. Rock Superstar 2. No music lover can be without this modern music phenomenon, with more songs and bands than ever before. Show off your musical skills and play as a whole band with your mates. Each player chooses which instrument they want to play and work together on the same song. Rock Superstar 2 will make you a better musician, keep you entertained for hours, and wake up the rock star in you. H. Superheroes. The perfect game for superhero fans. Save Ultropolis with your choice of superhero. Prepare to run into famous villains such as Dragon Master and Wolfwoman. Clear the city by catching the enemies and locking them up. This game is full of adventure, action, and surprises. Enjoy over 15 game modes and levels, or even play online, hooking up with people from different parts of the globe.
Dear students, let's go through the answers for the first activity. Here you have to match the people with the correct activity. Okay, so number 1, James, the answer is H. Number 2, the answer is A. Number 3, the answer is E. Number 4, the answer is B. And number 5, the answer is C. Now look at the highlighted phrasal verbs in the text and try to guess what they mean. Then match them with the meanings 1 to 7 below. Number 1, put someone in prison. So the answer is lock up. Number 2, trust somebody or something to do something. So answer is count on. Number 3, test something to see what it's like. Answer is try out. Number 4, meet somebody and spend time with them. Answer is hook up with. Number 5, meet somebody by chance. Answer is run into. Develop something, make something bigger, stronger, better, or others. So the answer is build up. And the last one, try to impress people. The answer is show off. For the next activity, you have to discuss which of the computer games seem appealing to you. Why? Do you know any similar computer games? What are they about and what are you required to do?
Suggested answers. Superheroes seems like a really good game. I love superheroes and comics and I always enjoy games with lots of different levels. Farm Fun 4 also looks like good fun. I enjoy playing simulation games like this and it would be great fun to play with my mates online. Rock Superstar / looks a lot like Guitar Hero, which is a brilliant game. You have a controller in the shape of a real guitar and you have to press buttons in time to the music. It's great because there are lots of variations on the game based on different rock music types, bands, and concerts. Farm Fun 4 reminds me of Farmville, which is a very popular game on social networking sites. You have to plant vegetables and raise animals just like a real farm. It sounds easy enough, but it can get really complicated.
Dear students, now we are doing Let's Read activity. So the title of today's text or passage is The Princess of Gunung Ledang. Look at the title of the story. Do you know anything about the story of the Princess of Mount Ledang or Gunung Ledang? What do you know? Read the story and check your answers.
the Princess of Gunung Ledang. The beauty of the Princess of Mount Ledang was legendary. Everyone who lived in the villages near the mountain told stories of her loveliness, and these stories traveled far and wide until eventually they reached the land of Malacca. When the Sultan there, whose wife had died, heard about the beautiful princess who lived at the top of the mountain, he knew he wanted to make her his wife. The Sultan sent several of his most devoted nobles to speak to the princess and ask her to marry him. With them, he sent a great number of expensive gifts, beautiful clothes, fine gold jewelry, and bowls and boxes crafted from silver. The journey from Malacca to Mount Ledang was a long one, but eventually the nobles arrived at the bottom of the mountain. It took them a full day to reach the top. There, they found a garden of bright flowers and tall trees. And, at its heart, a magnificent palace. A young woman waited for them at the entrance. She was slim and graceful, and even more beautiful than the stories told. She welcomed them warmly and invited them into the palace, where they were served food and entertained. When they had eaten, they relaxed, satisfied. Then, the princess asked them why they had come to her mountain. Princess 1 replied, "We have come from the Sultan of Malacca. He sends you these gifts, in the hope that you will consider marrying him." For a while, the princess looked deep in thought. Finally, she spoke, "If the Sultan really wishes to marry me, he must give me 7 gifts. First, he must build 2 bridges between Mount Ledang and the Sultan's palace, one of silver, one of gold. Then he must bring me 7 trays of mosquito hearts, 7 trays of germ hearts, 7 barrels filled with juice from the betel nut, and 7 barrels of tears. Finally, for the 7th gift, he must give me a silver bowl, filled with the blood of his only son." A long silence followed her words. "We shall carry your message to the Sultan," said one of the nobles, eventually. After that, they left the palace as quickly as they could. The Sultan was so eager to marry the princess that, when he heard her request, he used every resource in his lands to fulfill her requests. He made the people of Malacca work night and day, and soon, he had prepared the first 6 gifts. Now he started to think about the 7th gift, but his heart felt heavy. He had been dreaming of marrying the princess for a long time now, but he loved his son dearly. As he thought on it, he realized he could not do it. He would have to give up the dream of marrying the princess of Mount Ledang. It was in this moment that the Sultan finally saw clearly. He looked out over his lands and saw what he had missed before. His people were suffering. They had worked too hard, and he had forgotten his duty to look after them. He realized then the price he had paid for selfishly chasing his own ambition.
Dear students, you can read again and answer the questions. Number 1, what was the princess of Mount Ledang famous for? So the answer, she was famous for her beauty and loveliness. Number 2, what did the nobles take with them to Mount Ledang? They took a great number of expensive gifts such as clothes, gold jewelry, bowls and boxes crafted from silver. How did the princess treat the nobles? She welcomed the nobles or them warmly and invited them into the palace, where she offered them food and entertainment. How does the text suggest the nobles felt about the princess' request? They were shocked. Number 5. What finally made the Sultan decide he would not marry the princess? The answer, the realization that he could not give the princess the 7th gift, which was a silver bowl filled with the blood of his own son. How did the Sultan's wish to marry the princess affect his people? They were suffering because they had worked hard to fulfill the Sultan's wishes. Now discuss, do you think the princess of Mount Ledang expected the Sultan to fulfill her request? Maybe your answer can be no. Actually, she was trying to make him realize that he was not paying attention to his own people. There were a lot of matters in the country that the Sultan had ignored. So this can be your answer for why or why not. The next question, what was she trying to do by making this request? Okay, so she was trying to make the Sultan realize that there were other important matters in his country. And what is the moral of the story? So the moral of the story is, roles of a king or sultan is to protect the kingdom, increase the wealth and trade of the kingdom, as well as to take care of the poor, redistributing the tribute paid as necessary. Dear students, now let's move on to the next exercise. Read the sentences below from the extract. Decide whether the adjectives in bold express feelings, character, or appearance. The Sultan sent several of his most devoted nobles to speak to the princess. She was slim and graceful. When they had eaten, they relaxed, satisfied. Character description usually provide information about a character's trait, appearances, and feelings. They are an important feature of writing because they help readers create a picture in their minds of the character they are reading about. This makes the reading experience more real and helps the reader connect with the character they are reading about. So let's look at the answer. Feeling is satisfied. Character is devoted. Appearance, there are two words here, slim and graceful. Now read the extract again and find additional adjectives that refer to the characters in the story. Describe whether they express feelings or appearance. So here we have feeling, eager, and appearance, beautiful. For F, put the adjectives in the box in the correct category in the table below. So we have feelings, character, and appearance. The words are, or the adjectives are, bold, arrogant, devoted, irritated, offended, witty, well-built, overjoyed, underweight, reserved, discouraged, and handsome. Feelings, the answers are irritated, offended, overjoyed, discouraged. Character, arrogant, devoted, witty, and reserved. And appearances, or appearance, we have bold, well-built, underweight, and handsome. Now exercise G, use some of the adjectives in the previous activity to complete the sentences. He was a or an husband and father and did his best to provide for his wife and children. Answer is devoted. Patrice is very and feels terribly uncomfortable when she has to speak to people she doesn't know. So Patrice is very reserved. Number 3, the boy was terribly weak and it was obvious that he had not eaten in days. Answer is underweight. I was to hear that my brother who lives in Canada is visiting us in July. Answer is overjoyed. I felt when Brian spoke to me so rudely the other day. Answer is offended or irritated. I had really made an effort, so when my boss criticized my work, I felt really discouraged. Edgar is really, his comments are not only clever but also funny. Answer is witty. I don't like working with Derek. He has a big idea of himself and is terribly arrogant. So there is a project here. You can do some research on the internet and find a folk tale from another culture about a princess. Take notes, about the plot, the main characters, interesting features, and present it to the class. Now the last lesson is writing. For writing, today you're going to write a film review. So here is a discussion. Do you go to the cinema often? Why not? What kind of films do you like? Why? Which of the following would influence you most if you wanted to choose a film to see? Why? So you have actors starring in it, trailers, film reviews, a friend's recommendation.
Suggested answers. Yes, do I usually go to the cinema once a week with my friends? It's our favorite pastime. No, I don't because I don't have a lot of free time and I think that since you can watch the film on DVD later on, there's no point in going to the cinema. I like action films very much because I like adventure. I also enjoy watching science fiction films because they are usually unpredictable, keep you interested and give you an alternative perspective on what life could be like in the future. In addition, they usually have spectacular special effects. I think that I would be most influenced by the trailer of a film and the actors starring in it. The trailer, which consists of selected scenes from the film, gives you a pretty good idea of what the film is about. It can sometimes be misleading because the scenes that are selected are usually the best. Furthermore, if I like all actor, I am often encouraged to watch a film that comes out in which he/she is starring.
Username Ahmed Kumar _15. Ola Bola is a Malaysian film directed by Chu Keng Guan. It is a sports film which stars J.C. Chi as Chow Kwok Keong, the captain of the national football team of Malaysia in 1980, and Bront Palarai as Rahman, a would-be sports commentator and friend of Chow's. The film is set in 1980, and it is inspired by the true story of how the Malaysia national football team made it to the 1980 Olympics. It narrates the stories of the players who have to overcome obstacles and personal issues on their way to success. Its highlight is the match between Malaysia and South Korea, in which Malaysia wins and qualifies for the 1980 Olympics. A special feature of the film is the careful attention that was given to detail in order to make the 80s setting look authentic and to help develop the characters' stories. But, most importantly, it is a film which teaches us to never give up. It shows how important it is to put differences aside and work together to achieve a common goal. I found this film very entertaining. I think it should be seen not only by all sports lovers but also by anyone looking for an inspirational story.
Dear students, in which paragraph does the writer A express his or her opinion of the film and make a recommendation? Answer is paragraph 4. B. In which paragraph does the writer give a short description of the plot and the setting? Answer is paragraph 2. Number 3. In which paragraph does the writer give general information about the film? Answer is paragraph 1. In which paragraph does the writer comment on different features of the film? Answer is paragraph 3. Next, this exercise is exercise C. Below are some useful adjectives you can use in film reviews. Use them to rephrase the sentences 1 to 8. So we have words like or adjectives: unforgettable, spectacular, superb, original, unrealistic, disappointing, predictable, and terrifying. So the first sentence, I knew the ending from the beginning. So your sentence, the ending is predictable, or the ending was predictable. Number 2, the costume the actors wear are excellent. So your sentence, the costume the actors wear are superb, or the costumes the actors wear are spectacular. Number 3, the special effects didn't seem very real. So your sentence, the special effects were unrealistic, or the special effects were or are. So you can choose either one, are unrealistic or were unrealistic. So number 4 is an experience film goers will never forget. So your sentence is, film goers will find the experience unforgettable. For number 5, some scenes are very scary. So you can write, some scenes are terrifying. Number 6, the leading actor's performance wasn't as good as I expected. So your sentence, the leading actor's performance is disappointing, or you can use was. So was disappointing. Number 7, the film is set at the top of a mountain with a beautiful view. So you can write, the film is set at the top of a mountain with a spectacular view or with a superb view. Number 8, the plot is interesting and unusual. So you can write, the plot is original. Let's move on to the task for your writing. Read the writing task below and write a film review. A film club you belong to has asked its members to write reviews of films they have seen recently. The reviews will be posted on the club's webpage. So let's look at the plan. When writing a film review, follow the plan below. First, you have the introduction. So give some general information about the film, like title, type of film, director, leading actors. Use phrases like, it's a romantic film, it's an adventure film, it's a horror film, it's an animated film, it's a comedy, and others. For example, you can give the name. For example, Jet Li stars in this film. The film stars Stephen Seagal. Or you can say Harrison Ford is the leading actor. Or you can give an actress. Example, next one, plays or has the leading role. So who else can you mention? You can mention the actor's name, and then you can say he plays or has the leading role. The role of is played by. And the next one, plays the part character of. It was directed by Steven Spielberg. So these are some examples of introduction. Next, you have the main part. You can write in 2 paragraphs. Give a brief summary of the plot. Use phrases like the film is set in, the film is about, the hero or heroine of the film. Okay, so you can write the summary of the storyline. Next, number 2, make comments about what you liked or didn't like about the film. You can mention the plot, the acting, the soundtrack, special effects, costume, ending, and others. Use phrases like, the film is action-packed, the film is full of suspense. It includes some very amusing scenes. It includes some very violent scenes. The most outstanding feature is... Now let's continue with the conclusion. State your general opinion about the film and say whether you recommend it or not. Use phrases like, it's a classic, it's a blockbuster, it's a box office hit. I was disappointed by the film. It's a great film for action lovers. It's a great film for horror fans. All in all, I found the film boring. All in all, I found the film exciting. I definitely recommend it to film goers. It's worth seeing. It's not worth seeing. It was better than I expected. You shouldn't miss it for the world. It's suitable for both children and adults. It is sure to appeal to all ages. If you haven't seen it, make sure you do. It's a waste of time and money. You'll be on the edge of your seat during the whole film. It's unlike anything you have seen before. Dear students, now let's look at the tips. When writing a film review, choose a film you know well and make a plan of what you're going to write. Remember to use the present simple to describe the plot. Okay, remember, use present simple. Don't include too many details and don't reveal the ending. Use a variety of adjectives to make it more interesting. Use the present simple or the past simple to make comments and give your opinion. Before you start writing, maybe you can have these 2 tables and then you can fill them in. For example, here you have the first table where you can find the title, the type of film, the director, and also the leading actors. And then you can have another table where you write plot, acting, soundtrack, special effects, costumes, and ending. So here the categories are whether you can comment on whether they are excellent, good, or not good.
Review fearless.
Although it may seem like just another action-packed Jet Li martial arts period flick, Fearless seems more significant than even his groundbreaking Once Upon a Time in China movies. This is not because it may be the last time we see Li in that trademark period costume martial arts role, but because it is a more mature movie than his previous ones. While the role of Huo Yuanjie, founder of the martial arts school Jingwu Men, may seem like yet another rehash of his Wang Feng and Feng Seiyuk roles, he is in his element here, especially when it comes to the fight sequences. Using minimal wire work, the fight scenes awesomely choreographed by Yun Wo-ping, bring out the best of Li's martial arts skills. Be warned that there are some brutal scenes of bones being broken. The plot may be relatively predictable, where a weak child grows up to become arrogant kung fu master, who then experiences heartbreaking tragedy that drives him into exile, and leads to him achieving enlightenment in a farming village before returning home to become an honorable kung fu legend. Nevertheless, it is very much worth a watch, mostly because it manages to deliver its message of honor, respect and patriotism in a very butt-kicking kind of way. It may not be perfect, but all things considered, Fearless manages to bring Li's long filmography of martial arts movies to a fitting and rousing end.
Dear students, we have come to the end of our lesson. Thank you for watching the lesson. If you think it benefits you, do subscribe to my channel. It is called Educator Omni Tube. I am Madam Gan. See you in another English language lesson. Bye!